Okie doke, guys. I'm just going to do a little bit of a quickie here because I'm watching Theta. I woke up at 7 p.m. Again, I try as I might. I've given up on trying to see the sun. It just is never going to happen. I'm just not wired for it. So I woke up at 7 o'clock here, and it is 9:28 p.m. here, Chicagoland time. I'm watching Theta. So let's go ahead and open up Theta and T Fuel and see what's going on with this pump. Is this pump going to hold? All right, so let's start with Theta here. All right, so I just made a video where I was commenting, and then I found out I had no audio. So this is my second run through on this. All right, so we just had this pump here. So that, let's go back and start from square one here. So it's nine o'clock right now, 9:30 p.m. right now. So a daily candle just opened up 2.5 hours ago. So I want to explain what I think this is all about. So we have anytime a candle opens up, people start trading on that candle. They front run the motion on the candle. So there's been two things that have happened in the last sub 3 hours. Candle opened up at 7 o'clock. China comes online at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, 9:30. So it's morning China. So we got both of those things going on. So yes, it's likely that the combination of those two things, which happens every single day, by the way, the combination of those two things is likely what's probably caused this a little bit, just because. Now, another thing that is highly likely here is we have an opening and a closing move. That's neither here nor there, but does bolster my case because, and actually over the course of that amount, that candle, that candle, that candle, I'm probably right about it because look, okay, keep that in the back of your mind. Now, if I were to assume that I am right about that, then also we have to go ahead and we have to take a look at a few things here. Is this party over? Are we going to go further? Well, let's start at the bottom here because this is we're going to really dig into some sleuthing here. We're going to really dig into the TA here, and I'm going to show you my thought process. That's really what this video is about. We're not going to run through anything other than theta and T field here. Just want to share and teach a little bit of my thought process on this because sometimes it can be extremely infuriating. You think you know, and then you don't know. I'm still, to put it very bluntly, I'm not playing this. If it's pumping, so what? Next bus comes around here later on. I'll get on the next bus. I'm not worried about chasing this. I refuse to chase this. And the reason why is because I know the ultimate market is going down. The broader picture, it's going down. Over the summer, it's going down. So if I don't get what I want right now, I have my hopes down here in this area, and if I'm not down in this area, then I'm just not taking the bus. Simple as that. But for those of you who want to, I'm going to explain. I know that when I talk, I create a lot of confusion with you guys that don't follow my multi-level thinking, so I'm going to try to really paint a very detailed picture on this in many different scenarios. So try to hang with me here a little bit. But we're going to speak specifically to just this week. So anything I'm talking about is just this week. All right, so to go back here, so we've got this candle. What are we going to do with this? Are we going to be taken off? I don't believe we are, and so I'll make a case for that. So we've got resistance right there, and that's exactly where we're at. And wouldn't you know it, a week ago, I told you that. This is the resistance zone. So look where we are. We're in the resistance zone. So am I panicking? No, not until we break out of the resistance zone. Now, good time to stop this, and we're on theta here, so let's get to the theta 1 week, and I'll show you also why I'm not panicking. Because if you look at the 1 day, you look at the 1 day, and it's very bullish. We've got an indicator going up. That's a +1. This is speculation, we could be rolling into green. Haven't done it yet. So right now we're +1 and neutral. +1 and neutral. Let's narrow that down. Now, we're blasting a little bit. We're going up, but what's going on here? Our bubble's closing. That's -1. So we're +1, neutral, -1. So we're sitting at a sum total of possibility going up, 0. All right. Now, the only other one that's sticking out is the Snapdragon is looking like it wants to cross. Hasn't crossed yet. It's just kind of alluding to the idea that it might start going up. Hasn't done it yet. So we're still going to call it a 0. So across the board, we're not looking bullish, even though at first glance it looks like we could. You have to remember there's a number of times where we'll see a long red and we assume a long green's following. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. We can get into something like this: long red, blip green. You can barely see that green right there. And then we go into another long. I mean, they give you just a flash of green and then right back into red. Do the same thing the opposite direction too. So I'm not expecting this is to happen. So let me get into our 1 week discussion and I'll show you exactly why I think that is the case. So to go back to, so we are on theta 1 day. Let's see here. Theta 1 week. Okay, theta 1 week. Different narrative. You can see we have very convincingly, let's go ahead and get that out of there. Very convincingly, you can see that the Snapdragon is not showing bullish at all. We're going down. Down, down, down. You can see that the green is pulling away from the red, pulling away from the blue, pulling away from everything. So you can see that the RSI is diving down. You can see that we are in green, meaning it's possible this could be a short green session. I mean, look how tiny this green session was. Gigantic red, blip green, gigantic red. So we could very well see a further downturn here. You've got to know how to assess this stuff for probabilities. Now, looking at the DMI, again, green below red. Nothing in the 1 week. Nothing in the 1 week is positive. So there's that. Again, this is a trailing indicator. It means, we're not looking at the future. We're looking at statisticals up to this point. But, history speaks to the future. And so I'm looking at this, and I'm a firm believer in what's to come, which is to the downside. Now, we're back here on the 1 day looking at this, kind of going, well, what are we going to do with this? Well, if we're looking at the 1 week out there, and the 1 week is telling us not so much, we're seeing resistance right here. This is probably pretty much the end of the party. Nothing left but the beer cans on the kitchen table at this point in time. And so here's the thing I want to talk about. We're talking about 1 week. That's this right here. So here's what I'm expecting. I'll just share my little thought process here with you. I'm going to take the ultimate bottom call completely out of this discussion because I do not believe that's going to happen this week. So if you guys are seeing this going, well, I'll just wait for this, you're going to be waiting a while. And I'm going to be waiting a while. So there's money to be made in the interim, in the meanwhile. So let me get that box out of the way, but we're talking about this 1 week right here. So as I've discussed many, many times on past live streams, this is of great, great significance right here. This is a double confluence cycle going up. It's the long count and the short count going up. On into the first week of May. So far we're tracking beautifully. You can see that we're tracking beautifully with this stuff. And so if your trend is the friend until the end, we're still rocking and rolling. So we're going to stick with it. So what's going to happen with this candle here? What are we expecting? You can see it's already pulling back off resistance. We're sitting under resistance. So what I firmly believe could very well happen is we could get our old friend the tweezers. Two different forms of tweezers can come from this. I'll give you the better scenario. The better scenario is an equal tweezer, which will drop us right back into the zone, and we continue the party to the bottom. I don't feel that's going to be happening. What I feel is probably more than likely to happen. More than likely, we'll drop to the top of that channel right here, and the reason why is because we've got resistance right there. We've got it right there. We've got it right there, to a point right there. And so I think that what's likely is we're going to end up on top of this channel, and then for a couple days we'll do that. And so looking at that right there makes good sense to me. Now, that's as far as I can take you with my crystal ball right now. As far as are we going to go further? What's likely to happen is we're likely to pick up a couple of candles because, again, we're talking about inside of this box here. We've got about a week. We're battling time right now. We don't know, we assume that this line right here, I'll get this crap out of here. This line right here is when we're going to start doing business. We'll call that this weekend. So between now and this weekend, we've got to get as much downward pressure happening for ourselves as possible before we hit this line, hit the double confluence cycle, and things start going up for however far they're going to go up. This applies to Theta. This certainly applies to T-Fuel, and applies broadly to the rest of the market, as I explained to you in the last couple of videos. I told you how pretty much Theta front runs the market, so on into the first week of next month, you're probably going to see the same thing play out out with other things, Bitcoin right on down the line. So we're concerned with Theta because Theta is our pole position car right now, so to speak, to kind of use racing vernacular. And so we want to watch the pole position, which is Theta. And so what we're watching for here, there's a few points I want to show you. We're watching, again, this is a channel. We want to breach this line here for sure. We could go no further than this, bounce in this, hit that line, and we're off. Now, that's scenario one. Very strong probability that that'll happen. Better than 80% odds that that's going to happen because we have a bottom line, support and resistance right there. You can see it here, here, tons and tons of it right there. So if you want to play the easy game, that's where you play it. And I'll give you a price on that. So you're looking at probably picking that up at, let's just call that $2.90. So if you want to enter an order for $2.90 and wait this week, my gut feeling on this is you put your money on the table, you wait to scoop it up at $2.92, right in that comfortable window there. Let your order be filled, and then sit back and wait for the profits to roll in. Now, how high it goes, lots of speculation on that, but let's just use the resistance zone as our play of the day. So if we pick it up at $2.90 and we jump up there, there's 12%. Not great, not great, but I think that I'm expecting something a little sharper and a little stronger to happen right here because we have double confluence. So usually when these two things come together, we get a pretty mighty blast, and we haven't had anything for a while. So, we could get a run much like this right here as we had it downward, much like this right here, much like this right here. So we're due for it. We're due for it. If you go back and you look and see, look, we've got plenty of this. So if we went from, let's just go ahead and do that. If we went from $2.90, which is be right here, back up to just the average tops across all this like that. Now you're looking at somewhere close to 48, anywhere from 40 to 52%. Now, you're not going to get that in one candle. You're going to get that in the series of candles. But this is what I'm telling you. It does make sense because look at how beautiful the long count is running. Think we won't do it again? I do. I do. You can very well see it right there, right there, right there, and possibly again right there. So somewhere, I'm telling you this, somewhere between 30 and 50 to 55%. I feel pretty good telling you that that's probably likely. Wait it out. Wait it out. Chase it up with stop losses. Don't give them anything. Don't let them take any of that from you. Chase it up with stop losses. All right, so let's get back here a little bit and talk about scenario two. Scenario two is a little greedier, a little deeper. That's back here on this X that I told you about. So if we're to believe that the long count goes up, the long count will also go down. Now, doesn't look like it, never looks like it, but look at this very long candle right here. If we just took, let me give you a couple of scenarios. I'm just playing with theory here, but if I were to just take an average drop like that right there, I'm going to take that over and move it down there. Bam! Right on the X. Right on the X. So don't say it can't happen. It very well can happen. It's just a simple matter of do they want to give it to us or don't they? But the long count would assume and the short count would assume that that's exactly what's going to happen. So you have a window of your first level bet is, like I said, $2.90. If you want to get a little greedier, go a little deeper, try it at about $2.75. That makes good sense because you can see we've got resistance right there. We've got it right there. And if we go over far enough, you'll find it right there too. So now, if you want to get even greedier and go for the bottom call, you're going to be waiting because I think you're going to miss the bus. That one right there is not one that I would encourage anyone to even play. Your window is between 290, 292, and 270, right in that range, for a drop that should be coming. For a plunge, let's just call it a plunge that should be coming like this right here. That's an opening move. We haven't closed yet. My theory that I showed you here earlier is that could be a closing move. I don't think so. I think it's very likely. Now, if you guys that are just desperate to play something, play the higher, play the odds that are winning. If you just got to get something, start building your stack and stuff like that. If you buy here and you watch it drop here and it crosses and comes back, it happens to the best of it. It happens to me all the time. Better to be in the game and playing a little bit than not playing at all. So use your personal discretion, put on your own pants and wear them proudly. But again, back to the narrative here of, is this a stupid buy? $2.90 Theta is never going to be called a stupid buy. So if any of this, you can be quite proud to own it. It's just a matter of how long can you sit on it and control your urge to want to take profit. So that's pretty much it on that. So let's go ahead and take a look at T-Fuel real quick, and then we'll shut this down. T-Fuel, same thing. So we are in a rounding bottom. Now this is the T-Fuel 1 week. Let me get back to, hold on, getting ahead of myself here a little bit. All right, there we go. So T-Fuel 1 day. There we go. All right. That was my last video I did here. My audio wasn't working. All right, so now we have clues here, and pardon all my spaghetti. We have a much stronger, much more obvious resistance. So we had this blast. Are we going to cross it? I don't think so. I don't think so. So let me take this all the way across and make a super, super strong case for it. So our resistance goes right across, right there. You can see it here. You can see it here and here and here and here, here, and here. So that being said, I think that was pretty much the end of it. Now, again, going back to looking and saying, well, what about the indicators? The indicators are looking very bullish. I'll spot you that. I have it takes some real intestinal fortitude to be able to make a statement like I'm about ready to make, and really stick to my guns, because if I'm looking at this just static coming in knowing nothing about this chart, going, yep, better buy it, because positive, positive, positive. Uh, Everything, we're basically 4 out of 5 indicators are positive. This one, positive, positive, positive. The only thing that's slightly questionable is the Bollinger Band is kind of starting to compress, meaning the upward trend is about to end for the 1 day. All right. That in and of itself is enough to cause me concern, because I like to really see a good flare. When I like to see the dragon cross, and I like to see a really good flare. So, but you're 4 out of 5 indicators. That's enough to get me to throw down money most of the time. It's just that I got a master's in watching this at this point in time, because I look at it for 8 friggin' hours a day and have been for well over 6 months. I know how this booger moves, and so I'm not taking my money. Sorry. And so, let's take that, set it aside, and let's talk about the 1 week, so we can kind of make a case for, am I making a stupid decision? So in the 1 week, tells us a little bit different. So there's T-Fuel for 1 week, shows us that I'm not making a stupid decision. That Bollinger Band is tight neck. Look at that bad boy. Look how tight that is. Compressed, tightly compressed, meaning that thing was going down. It's tightly compressed. It's going to go neutral for a while. Look at the Snapdragon. It's extremely below red, below blue. It's not making any indicators that it's going up. You can see the DMI, the newest DMI, is nowhere close to green above red. You can see we are in green. Now, when we're already in green, getting ready to make a decision that we're hoping is going to get more green, this is not a time to be throwing down money. When you're in red, getting ready to go green, like say this first little micro green right here, that's when you probably would have thought, all things being equal, that would be the time to throw down your money. You don't throw down money on after several different green MACDs, and we're diving on the RSI. Nothing about this chart, other than this right here, shows anything bullish. This doesn't mean it's bullish. It just means that that's as good as it got. So this thing's going to blip, much like this one right here, and turn red again and drop. Might not be a very big run. So for the next following week here, we're probably going to see this roll very soon and turn into a red session, and down she goes. So the 1 week tells us everything we need to know about the long. And again, these are trailing indicators, but they're very, very accurate. History can forecast the future very, very easy if you know how to read the charts. So going back to recap on that one more time, much like I said, we're waiting for that upstroke. We're not quite there yet. That's going to be this weekend. So I'm going to take that out of here because that's not relevant to the conversation anymore. But so, where are we going? Where's the buying opportunities for T fuel? All right. Well, the buying opportunities for T fuel. We're going to go ahead and we're going to talk. The bottom of that box right there is a pretty good one. Reason why? Look at all that resistance right there, or support. Sorry. Look at the support. It's right there, there, and all along there. There's a hell of a lot of it. So if you're betting below that line, good luck. I don't see that this is going to probably pierce and go below the green line. If it did, the lowest it would probably go is to the 75% of the old call. So you've got a window of, excuse me, you've got a window of potentially, I'll give you the low spot, which would be about 14, let's call it 14 and a half cents. So your best, much like we had the two different targets for Theta, we got two different targets for T fuel. The better one, if you really want to scoop up this on this move, I know you see better buy here. Ignore this for a second because I don't think we're going to hit it. 14 and a half cents being the better opportunity. The more sure bet would be about 15 and a quarter. 15 and a quarter to 15 and a half. So you've got a window below a window right there. So now when we get into that, that's when we're going to be waiting for the upstroke that comes next week, theoretically, and we catch into the upswing and we take our profits if we want, or we ride it on up. But again, same thing I'm going to tell you about T fuel. I've been telling you buy T fuel anything below 25 cents. Buy T fuel. Here we are sitting here at 15, 16 cents targets. If we buy it at 15, 16 cents, nobody's going to get hurt, guys. Nobody. I'm speaking to McDonald's money. I'm speaking to you guys that mow lawns. I'm speaking to anybody's got 2 cents in their pocket. It makes good sense to buy at that price. And then whatever, throw it in the closet and forget you own it until you start seeing those big numbers. This right now, currently, yeah, we're watching for those. And as I explained, one more little micro concept, and then we'll scoot on out of here. So let's get all that stuff scooted to the side. I explained to you, and I think I need to kind of go back and re-explain several times. We've got a window or a timeline here, where you get paychecks within that timeline. Whenever the big crash is going to happen, and I'm not telling you that I know exactly off the top of my head exactly. It's going to be sometime by summer probably. You got a certain number of paychecks, so you need to be buying positions in these areas, not hodling because you got such a thing as time value of money. You need to be buying, as this market moves and whatever. You need to be buying because when it goes down, then obviously you'll buy with that check. But every one of these checks needs to be realizing at good prices that we're seeing right now, realizing you can call it dollar cost averaging if you want. I just don't like that term. But you should be utilizing those smaller paychecks to get in the game. Right now, it's get in the game time. One other thing I want to talk about here, because it does cross my mind. You guys know how I am. I get a thought. I gotta say it. Uh, I took a look at this right here, and before people start asking me questions, I want to speak to it here real quick, and then this will be the last thing we talk about. Saw that right there. And I was like, that was not expected. That was not expected. I told you we probably should see a little bit more down. I firmly believe this thing's going to go tweezers. That's not called for. The only reason why we would see that thing continue to go up, let's start at the very top here. Why is it sitting there? Because we are at, come on, we are at the half channel. If I could get my marker to work. We are at the half channel. Stop dead on in the half channel to the pixel. Called it, hit it. All right. This indicator is very bullish. Anything you get, they're called forks. Anytime you get a fork where the indicators are just turn and go, that's what we got right now. That's extremely bullish. Makes me a little nervous, to be honest. Uh, but, but I'm not quite ready to say that this thing's going to hold ground and going to go up. Let me get that all out of the way here. All right. So we've got an extremely bullish indicator here, one that has this again. I was talking about buy on the first green blip. There it is right there. We are shooting straight up on the DMI. We are 3 for 3 right here. We are very flared on the bubble. If we can get the bubble starting to go, you can see the bubble starting to flare. We're 5 for 5. This thing's screaming buy me right now. Um, just because it is doesn't mean you should. Uh, this is something you've probably never seen me say before. The question is, just because it's a buying opportunity, just because it's going up. The question is, how far is it going up? Well, we're probably still going to respect this channel. So let me show you what I forecast on the upside, and let me show you what I forecast on the downside, and then we'll get out of here. So on the upside, and again, we're talking about for the week. Because for the week, this thing just doesn't seem to respect when everything else is moving. This couldn't give two shits about it. But so this thing that's coming this week, I don't necessarily know that this is going to want to play. So we'll just look at this statically in and of itself. To the positive side of this, let's assume that this does continue with its bullish pattern, which every indicator says that it will. Every indicator says that it will. Where will we go? Well, we're probably going to respect the obvious TA. We've got resistance, as I stated right there. Okay, so let's assume we break that with a continuous cycle. Well, we've also got an upward trend. So what was likely to happen is it's likely to go strike the dual AI lines right there. And again, you can see we have resistance, 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 right there, and we got the dual AI line. So this is likely to be your target point on an upward move. All right, I want to show you that specifically because I want to speak to your percentages, and this is why you don't chase it just because it says buy. Sometimes you got to evaluate your profit potential, and that's what we're going to do here right now. So if we get this out of here. All right, so let's make the assumption that we are going to go from here to the dual AI line. There's 15, 16%. Do you like that? I do. I think that's pretty good. I might jump in on that. Now, is that my grand price? Is that my dream price? Now, the question is don't go in the entrance unless you're sure about the exit. Are you buying XDC for the long term? This is what we've always talked about is, the future price of this stuff is going to be astronomical. So the question we got to ask ourselves is it worth it just playing with this because it's the deal to be had to, like I said, I'll get out of bed for 15%, 15, 16%. There's a potential to run. Let me give you the exact, actually. From where we are right now to that red line or to the ISIS line is 17%. It's good. It's good. Now, that's what we see. Now, does that mean it's going to happen? It's not going to happen in one candle. And here's what concerns me about that. Again, TA says 17%. Barron says 75% of all TA moves. So now we have to evaluate that. Where's our resistance? It's right there. It's right there at 75% of the move. 75% of the move from where we're at right now to the top of that is only 11%. Do I get out of bed for that? No, I do not. And this is why I said, just because you see green indicators doesn't mean you chase them. All right, so if I confused you guys enough, go back and listen to this again one more time. What I've basically said, TA indicates 17%. I'm telling you that I've seen 75% of TA moves playing out. It's a thing, guys. It's a real thing. I'm showing you support and resistance right here. I'm not seeing it going past this point right here. So if it does go on a continued 2 or 3 day blast, it'll likely go to probably about 0.06656. And then it'll probably go squishy and it'll probably fall back down. So I'm not going to be a player for that reason because I have targets lower. I'm waiting for the whole market to finally get a little bit of a feel good, and then they're going to kick everybody in the teeth and drop it to where I really think it's going. So if you want to play this, just question whether or not you think you can deal with making 8, 9, 10% if you're happy with that. You guys are dealing in 5 figures. It makes sense because you can at scale you can make that kind of money. But you smaller guys, this isn't something you would want to probably screw with to try and make quick bucks on a move to the top of that channel because the odds are that we're probably not going to see that. Now to the other side. To the negative side of that, let's assume that this is party's over and it goes down. Well, tweezers. Tweezers are a real big thing. I don't think we're going to see tweezers out of this because tweezers don't come, on a 5 for 5 indicator. So I do believe it will go higher. But let's assume it did turn tail and go the other direction. Highly unlikely. Less than 5% possibility that it would. If it did go down, it would likely fall and walk along the top of this. But really not even worthy of discussion. Because the indicators are not suggesting that this could even possibly pull out a tweezers move. So I think it will go higher ultimately. But again, you're looking at right about there, somewhere right in that general area, right there. is about how good it's going to get. In the here and the now, that's what I see. So, but I do not see a channel breakout even in the best of scenarios. All right. Okay, so that's pretty much going to do it for right now. Just wanted to kind of put a little something out there on the air, just kind of keep pumping the algorithm. So like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thank you very much, guys. Talk to you later.